Hi, welcome to episode number 2 Design Chronicles with House of December. I'm Kritika, founder and principal designer at House of December. A beautiful space is great, but a functional one even better. Today, we're going to be discussing more about how a functional space makes the space more usable and at the same time make it look pretty beautiful and aesthetically right. Functionality, on one hand, ensures that our day to day chores, our daily activities are looked after, whereas aesthetics makes us feel good. It makes the place looks beautiful and pleasing. A space that looks great but is not functional, or a space that is functional but doesn't look great. Something is amiss, right? So, here we are talking elaborately on how a functional space is so important in our daily lives. Firstly, you need to start with a purpose. You need to know how the space will be used, who's going to be living there, what do they do every day, design for real life and not just Pinterest. So, understanding the user's needs, habits, and priorities is key to balancing form and function. So, while we're able to decide who is going to use the space and for what purpose, it kind of categorically helps us in zoning out the entire space, and we can break it down into zones and activities for us to be able to design purposefully. Next comes up is we need to plan the flow. We need to ensure that the smooth circulation of parts, there is enough free movement without compromising visual appeal. We need to see that all the activity areas like the work, relaxation, socializing are clearly yet seamlessly charted out. The furniture placement. We need to choose pieces that complement the design language but also suit the proportions and the flow. Planning the layout is the most important part of any given space. One must try and play around and sketch around, even if you don't have a expert helping you out with your space or your home. You must sketch out a basic layout plan of what all you'll be needing in a particular room. For example, in a bedroom, a bed and side units, nightstands are most essential. But other than that, what do you need to look around? What do you need as a support system? You may need a chair because you like reading books, or you may need storage bench or ottoman, just like a footstool next to your bed where you will be putting all your day bedding inside and your night bedding outside. So a lot of mix of how you use the space in case you're out of the house the full day, you're out for work, which means that once you come back, you need like probably two chairs to sit down and have a cup of tea early in the morning or in the evening once you're back. And you need a little nook in the same room. You don't want to be on the bed all the time. In a way, it needs to be very, very user centric. I ask a lot of questions from my clients in the beginning when we're starting out a project to be able to live their lives, to be able to understand how they utilize and use each and every space to make it user friendly and functional. Next up is anchor with a focal point, which means you need to narrate the entire storytelling of a home or a space through keeping a focal point of each and every room and space. While it's important to understand the design style or the language the user prefers or your client prefers, which means that they are minimal or modern, whether it's a mid century or whether it's a colonial, you need to stitch the entire home with that same design language in order to stitch the entire space together. While that becomes the design style of the entire house or a few rooms, it's important that every space has a focal point and you anchor the design of that space using that focal point. Small little artwork, or as huge as a grand paneling at one point in the space. So, while every room needs a visual anchor, one can turn around the room or space by visualizing a focal point and blending the design around it. A fireplace, a TV, or a stunning piece of art, or even a statement bed bag. Even that takes away the entire attraction to the room. So, it's very important to play around with the focal point. Next up is defining zones. So, while visualizing a space, you need not need a room divider or a glass partition, but the same can be achieved by use of furniture or even defining ceiling designs and giving levels in them to visually understand the invisible divider. So, one can use rugs, furniture, or lighting to divide open plan spaces into purposeful zones. For example, a living and a dining can be divided by a sofa and a console, acting as a divider, yet maintaining the openness to the space. So, while it's not important to really create hard stop partitions or walls in between, and also not to use those conventional dividers like maybe a glass sliding door, there are a lot of options these days where you can make the division of the room invisible. At the same time, we are aware that okay, we are dividing the particular area into zones. You need to understand the space management of the space, how big small it is, whether putting a physical partition will make the space smaller or will it kind of make it a little more private. As long as everyone's requirement is concerned, of course, every area needs to be private, but at the same time, what one can use to make it private is very important. So it need not be always proper partitions, but it can be done with the use of rugs or even furniture. Next up is to mind the scale. It's very important to understand that in a particular room, how big or small of the furniture or an art or decor is something that we are using. It's important to choose the furniture that fits your room size. Too big overwhelms, too small gets lost. The furniture must fit the scale of the room and the body proportions of the users. It's so important to understand this, that the comfort doesn't have to mean sacrificing style, but choosing fabrics, forms, and finishes that achieve both is the key to knowing your scale. So, if you have a huge armchair, choosing a bold print on it may overpower the entire room. But choosing like maybe small checks or small prints or even a solid color will kind of tone down the scale of the armchair, and it kind of will blend in into your room. Next up is built-in storage. Over and above the storage that you get in your homes, it's so important to create built-in storage which is invisible. They can be used in ottomans, benches, a seamless mirror, and behind it can be a thin storage. Basically, to understand your requirement, what all is required, and if everything has its own place, it nearly becomes clutter free. So, clutter free spaces are both functional and aesthetically pleasing. Design built in storage or creative hidden storage that blends into the design language is an added yes. Next up is layer your lighting. So, a combination of all your artificial lighting along with natural lighting is a key to perfect lighting. But additionally, when we talk only about the artificial lighting, we have ambient, which is your seating lighting, the task lighting, which are your lamp for specific activities, accent lighting for flexibility and depth. Functional lighting ensures safety in task performance, while ambient lighting and accent lighting enhances mood and aesthetics. For example, layered lighting, which means your ambient task and decorative lighting, creates a functional yet dramatic effect. Next up is we need to keep it cohesive. We, I think, talk about all of this in all streams of design or your usual life, that everything needs to stitch together and tie together. So it's important that you limit your palette to 2 to 3 main tones. Mix textures only for richness instead of using too many colors or too many textures and prints. Space will feel harmonious only when functional elements don't look like an afterthought. For example, hiding kitchen appliances behind a cabinet from fronts maintains clean lines. This not only makes the design look very seamless and blended, it also looks like a very thought after design. Like you've really understood the functioning of the space and then integrated all these elements into the design and made it aesthetically look beautiful. And that is why this cohesiveness is very important. Next up is let the natural light in. When we talk about natural light, it's so important to maximize the natural light. place mirrors opposite windows to bounce it around beautifully. Natural light is a very important factor in our day-to-day lives. It also enhances our mood. It also brings in that energetic emotions into the house or into a space. So it's very important to use natural light in the favor of design rather than blocking it. While it's important also to understand where a window is used, not used. For example, in one of our projects, there was a window which was coming bang opposite the TV. Now, while it could be a hindrance, for a window to be opposite the TV, and we didn't want to get rid of the natural light because it kind of connected the entire space to the front balcony, etc. So we provided a motorized blind there, which meant that the users were always very quick and comfortable to quickly go pull up the blinds or pull it down and have the essence of natural light as well as the functionality, which was majorly watching television in that space, didn't get hindered. Next up is leave space to breathe. This is our final space where we say that as much as we want to kind of integrate a lot of things in a space, it's also so important that once you decide, okay, I need all of this here, you need to like step back 2 steps and think whether out of these 10 things, can I do without these two? That is what is actually going to let your space breathe. We don't have to overfill the room. Negative space helps the layout feel balanced and calm. Use statement decor and bold designs sparingly, not to overpower the usability. A very, very important example to this is like an oversized chandelier may look spectacular, but block sight lines or make the room feel cramped. It's so important that just because it's trending or just because we've seen it in someone's home or space, we need to use it in our space. Of course, you like the idea, take inspiration from it and use it according to the space. Leave as much space in between spaces in order to kind of go with the flow and feel the space. It's always visible whenever we hand over a project to a client, and later on when we go visit them, we see that the space is spilled over, which means that of course when you're going to start living in a area or you start using a space, you're going to spill over, you will expand, which so it's always nicer to leave some negative space for that future expansion. At House of December, we see interior design as an art of creating experiences, not just spaces and environments. Every home we design is a blend of creativity and thoughtfulness, comfort and character, efficiency and elegance. When form and function is thoughtfully blended and curated, you see nothing but a space that is intuitive, looks beautiful, and definitely makes life better every single day. Ready to create a home that looks beautiful and is all you? Thank you for watching Design Chronicles at House of December. Look out for our next episode.